Okay, segments being divided proportionally. If I have 3 or more parallel lines, all right, so here I'm going to put some parallel lines. They're not going to be equidistant. There are 4 parallel lines. If I'm cut by this transversal, and then I'm cut by this transversal, they are divided proportionally. So A is to X, as B is to Y, as C is to Z. Parallel lines cut by 2 transversals will be divided proportionally. All right, and here if I have a triangle, and if I bisect one of the angles, so now I have 2 angles here that are congruent, because that's what a bisector does. So this is going to be leg 1, and this is going to be leg 2, and this is going to be segment 1 of the opposite side, and this will be segment 2 of the opposite side. So if a ray bisects an angle of a triangle, it divides the opposite side into segments whose lengths are proportional to the lengths of the sides that form the bisected angle. So that means segment 1 is to leg 1 is the same as segment 2 is to leg 2. And this is for an angle bisector. This is not an altitude, this is an angle bisector. So segment to the leg, segment to the leg, divided proportionally. And on the next page they have what I wrote, but they have it in words there. The segment at the left to the side at the left is in proportion to the segment at the right to the side on the right. And you can set up your proportion in several ways as long as you are consistent. And then we're going to end with Siva's theorem. Siva's theorem has to do with any triangle and a point on the interior of the triangle. That's going to set up segments where the proportions multiplied, or I should say the ratios multiplied, will equal 1. They have to be taken in order. You go around left to right or right to left. So here's an example. Here I have point D. And I draw my line from my vertex through point D. So here's A through D, going to F. Here's C through D, going to G. And here's B through D going through E. So I'm going to go clockwise. The length of AE to the length of EC times the length of CF to the length of FB times, and you just have to follow, in this case, clockwise, the length of BG to the length of GA. Those 3 multiplied will always equal 1. So, that's kind of interesting. You just have to remember you have to go clockwise or counterclockwise, one way or the other, because if you get your proportion set up or get your rates set up incorrectly, it's not going to work.